This standoff, however, was not an isolated incident. It was merely the latest act in a long and tumultuous play, one marked by recurring cycles of hope and despair. Nigeria, despite its vast oil wealth, has long been plagued by corruption, inequality, and economic mismanagement. The gap between the haves and the have-nots has continued to grow, fueling a deep-seated sense of resentment and frustration. Successive governments have come and gone, each promising change, each failing to deliver on their grand promises. The people, weary of broken promises and empty slogans, have grown increasingly cynical. The social contract, that unwritten agreement between the governed and the government, seemed to be fraying at the edges. This strike, then, was about more than just wages. It was an expression of this deep-seated frustration, a cry of anguish from a people who felt ignored and unheard. It was a stark reminder that a nation's true wealth lies not in the abundance of its resources, but in the well-being of its people. Nigeria's story, unfortunately, is not unique. Across the African continent, from the bustling metropolises to the dusty rural villages, similar tales of struggle and resilience unfold daily. Countries rich in resources but grappling with poverty, corruption, and inequality. Nations with immense potential, yet held back by poor governance and a lack of opportunity. From the streets of Nairobi to the townships of Johannesburg, citizens are demanding accountability, transparency, and a fair share of their nation's wealth. They are challenging the status quo, demanding a seat at the table where decisions about their future are being made. The strike in Nigeria, then, is not just a Nigerian story, but an African one. It is a stark reminder of the challenges that continue to plague the continent, a testament to the resilience of its people, and a call for a more just and equitable future. Section 5. A government's burden, a people's patience. The government's response to the strike was initially one of defiance. Officials dismissed the union's demands as unreasonable and unsustainable, accusing them of holding the nation hostage for their own political gain. They urged the people to be patient, assuring them that the government was working tirelessly to resolve the situation. However, as the blackout continued and the pressure mounted, the government's tone began to shift. There were calls for dialogue, for compromise, for a swift resolution to the crisis. The economic toll of the strike was becoming increasingly apparent, with businesses forced to close, productivity plummeting, and the reputation of the nation taking a hit. Yet, even in the face of mounting pressure, there seemed to be a reluctance to address the root causes of the crisis. The government's focus remained on ending the strike, not on addressing the systemic issues that had led to it. Throughout the darkness, the voices of the people resonated, a chorus of frustration, anger, and a sliver of hope. On the darkened streets, in homes lit by flickering candles, conversations revolved around the strike, its impact, and what it said about the state of their nation. Some expressed solidarity with the unions, praising their courage for taking a stand against a government they perceived as out of touch and uncaring. Others, while acknowledging the legitimacy of the workers' demands, questioned the effectiveness of the strike, arguing that it only served to hurt the most vulnerable.